The sound of my sister Rachel's words still echoed in my ears as I sat in my car outside our family home. The same house where we'd grown up, where Mom had raised us after Dad died, where everything had fallen apart in the past year. My name is Emma Mitchell, and at 29, I'd just been disowned by my family because of lies my sister had spent months carefully crafting. The irony was, I had proof that would destroy her carefully constructed narrative. I just wasn't ready to use it yet. The USB drive felt heavy in my jacket pocket, Mom's final gift to me, given in secret during one of her last lucid moments in the hospital. Not yet, Emmy, she'd whispered, her voice weak but her eyes sharp. Wait until you really need it. You'll know when. That was 3 weeks ago. Now Mom was gone, buried just yesterday, and Rachel had finally succeeded in what she'd been working toward for months, turning our entire family against me. I started the car, catching a glimpse of Rachel watching from the living room window. She'd always been the perfect daughter, the one who'd stayed in our hometown, married well, given Mom grandchildren. Meanwhile, I'd moved to New York, built a career in investigative journalism, lived life on my own terms. It hadn't been a problem until Mom got sick. Pancreatic cancer, aggressive, terminal from the start. I'd flown home immediately, ready to help however I could. But Rachel had other plans. Mom needs stability right now, she'd said, her voice dripping with false concern. Your busy life in New York, your unpredictable schedule, it's too disruptive. I'll handle her care. And so it began. Every time I tried to visit, Rachel told me Mom was too tired. When I called, Mom was always sleeping or in too much pain to talk. Slowly, surely, Rachel began spinning her web of lies. She told our aunts I was too busy with my career to care about Mom. Told our cousins I refused to help with medical bills. Told our family friends I'd abandoned Mom when she needed me most. And all the while, she controlled access to Mom so completely that I couldn't defend myself. I pulled away from the curb, memories of the past year flooding back. The desperate attempts to see Mom, the blocked phone calls, the text messages Rachel sent pretending to be Mom. Messages I later learned Mom never knew about. But what Rachel didn't know, what none of them knew, was that I'd spent those months doing what I do best, investigating, documenting, gathering evidence. Mom's nurses had been particularly helpful, especially after they witnessed Rachel's behavior firsthand. Your sister's been intercepting your cards and letters, Maria, Mom's favorite nurse, had told me during one of my few successful hospital visits. Your mom keeps asking why you never write. That was when I'd started keeping records, dates, times, witnesses, every instance of Rachel's interference. I'd even managed to get security camera footage from a hospital showing Rachel throwing away the care packages I sent. The USB drive shifted in my pocket as I turned onto the highway. Mom had given it to me during my last visit, just 2 days before she slipped into the coma that would claim her life. Rachel had been at her kid's soccer game, and I finally had a moment alone with Mom. I know what she's been doing, Mom had said, her voice barely a whisper. Maria told me everything, but confronting her now would only make things worse. She'd pressed the small drive into my hand. This is your insurance policy, Emmy. Use it wisely. I hadn't watched it yet. Part of me was afraid of what I'd find, but another part knew Mom was right about timing. Rachel had spent a year building her narrative. The devoted daughter caring for our dying mother while the selfish sister abandoned her family. Dismantling that story would take more than just accusations. My phone buzzed with a text from Maria. You okay? That scene at the house looked pretty intense. I pulled into a coffee shop parking lot to respond. Maria had become my ally throughout this ordeal, keeping me updated on Mom's condition when Rachel blocked my access, making sure Mom knew I was trying to be there. I'm fine, I typed back. Rachel finally did it, convinced everyone I'm the villain in her story. But Mom left me something that might change everything. Maria's response was immediate. The USB drive, she told me about it, said it would show the truth when the time was right. I ordered a coffee and found a quiet corner table. My laptop was in my bag. I could watch it now, finally see what Mom had left me. But her words echoed in my mind. Wait until you really need it. Instead, I pulled out my reporter's notebook. Old habits die hard, and began writing everything down. The scene at the house today, Rachel's accusations, the family's reactions. I learned long ago that details matter, especially when you're dealing with someone who twists the truth. Rachel had been clever. I had to give her that. She'd started small, planting seeds of doubt about my character, my commitment to family. Then, as Mom got sicker, the lies grew bigger. Emma's too busy with her career to help with Mom's care. Emma refuses to contribute to the medical expenses. Emma doesn't even call or visit. Each lie built on the last, creating a picture of a heartless daughter who'd abandoned her dying mother. The fact that I'd been sending money monthly, calling daily, though Rachel usually blocked my calls, and flying home every chance I got, though Rachel usually prevented me from seeing Mom, didn't matter. Perception had become reality. My coffee grew cold as I wrote, documenting every detail of how Rachel had systematically turned our family against me. Aunt Sarah, who'd once been like a second mother to me, now couldn't look me in the eye. Cousin Mike, who'd been my best friend growing up, had blocked my number. Even our childhood neighbors, the Petersons, had turned away when they saw me at the funeral. The ultimate betrayal had come today when Rachel had gathered the family to read a letter she claimed Mom had written before she died. A letter that painted me as a heartless, selfish daughter who cared more about my career than my dying mother. I'd known immediately the letter was fake. The phrasing wasn't Mom's. The sentiments didn't match our last conversation. Even the signature was wrong. But Rachel had timed it perfectly, presenting it when emotions were raw from the funeral, when everyone was looking for someone to blame for their grief. My phone buzzed again. Another text from Maria. Just so you know, that letter Rachel read today. Your mom never wrote anything like that. I was with her those last weeks. The only thing she wrote was a note telling you she was proud of you. I smiled sadly. Maria had been there through everything, watching Rachel's manipulation with growing concern. She'd even offered to speak up to tell the family the truth, but I'd asked her not to. Rachel would only twist it, claim Maria was lying out of loyalty to me. No, this had to be handled carefully. Mom had taught me that sometimes the best defense isn't an immediate reaction, but a carefully planned response. Patience, she'd always said, is more powerful than anger. The USB drive seemed to grow heavier in my pocket. What had Mom left me? What truth was she waiting for me to discover? Back in my hotel room, I finally sat down with my laptop and the USB drive Mom had given me. My hands trembled slightly as I plugged it in, remembering her final words about it. The truth will hurt, Emmy, but sometimes that's necessary for healing. The drive contained a single video file, dated 3 weeks before Mom died. I took a deep breath and pressed play. Mom's face filled the screen, gaunt from chemotherapy, but her eyes clear and determined. She was in her hospital room. I recognized the pale blue walls and the small window behind her. Emma, my sweet girl, she began, her voice stronger than I remember from those final days. If you're watching this, then everything has happened as I feared it would. Rachel's lies have done their work, and you're probably feeling very alone right now. I paused the video, tears blurring my vision. Even at the end, Mom had known exactly what would happen. I wiped my eyes and pressed play again. I need you to understand something, Mom continued. I know everything Rachel has been doing. The blocked calls, the hidden letters, the lies she's been telling the family. Maria has kept me informed, and I've been watching, gathering my own evidence. The screen changed, showing security footage from a hospital. There was Rachel, intercepting my care packages at the nurse's station. Another clip showed her turning me away during a visit, telling me Mom was too sick to see anyone, then letting other family members in just minutes later. But that's not the worst of it. Mom's voice continued as the video returned to her face. I've discovered something much more serious. Rachel has been stealing from me, Emma. She's been forging my signature on checks, accessing my accounts without permission. My journalist's instincts kicked in immediately. I grabbed my notebook and started taking notes as Mom detailed the financial abuse. Dates, amounts, account numbers. Mom had documented everything. I've put all the evidence in a sealed envelope with my lawyer, Richard Stevens, Mom explained. Bank statements, forged checks, everything. But I didn't want to confront her while I was sick. I knew she'd twist it somehow, use my illness to manipulate the situation. The irony was staggering. While Rachel had been painting me as the greedy, career-obsessed daughter, she'd been systematically draining Mom's accounts. There's more, Mom continued, her expression growing more serious. Rachel's been pressuring me to change my will, to leave everything to her. She claims you don't need the inheritance, that your success in New York means you don't deserve any help. But I've seen her bank statements, Emma. She and Tom are in serious financial trouble. The big house, the luxury cars, the lavish lifestyle, it's all built on debt. I paused the video again, remembering all the times Rachel had bragged about her perfect life. The 5-bedroom house in the best neighborhood, the expensive private schools for her kids, the fancy vacations. It had always seemed like she and Tom were living beyond their means on his middle management salary. The video continued with Mom pulling out a stack of papers. These are copies of Rachel's credit card statements and loan documents. Maria helped me get them. Turns out Rachel's been using my hospital room to receive her financial documents, probably to hide them from Tom. They're nearly bankrupt, Emma. That's why she's been stealing from me, why she's so desperate to control my estate. The screen showed close-ups of the documents, credit card statements showing hundreds of thousands in debt, past due notices for their mortgage, collection letters from various creditors. Rachel's perfect life was a house of cards on the verge of collapse. I've left instructions with Richard about how to handle this, Mom said. The evidence of Rachel's theft is there if you need it. But Emma, my brave, compassionate daughter, I'm leaving the decision to you. You can use this information to clear your name, to show the family who Rachel really is. Or you can find another way. Mom's face grew softer, more tired. I know you, Emmy. You're like your father, you believe in justice, but you also believe in mercy. Whatever you decide to do with this information, I trust you to do what's right. The video ended with Mom looking directly into the camera, her eyes filled with love and trust. Remember, sweetheart, the truth isn't always about punishment. Sometimes it's about giving people a chance to face their own demons and find redemption. I sat in silence for a long time after the video ended, processing everything I'd learned. The USB drive contained more files, PDFs of the financial documents Mom had mentioned, photos of the forged checks, even audio recordings of Rachel pressuring Mom about the will. My phone buzzed with a text from Maria. Did you watch it? Yes, I replied. It's worse than we thought. What are you going to do? That was the question, wasn't it? I could take this evidence to the family right now, expose Rachel's lies and theft. It would destroy her, but it would also hurt her children, damage Tom's reputation, tear our family apart even more. Or I could do what Mom suggested, find another way. I opened my laptop again and started researching. If Rachel and Tom were really in that much debt, there had to be public records. Sure enough, I found tax liens, civil judgments, even a pending foreclosure notice on their house. The perfect life Rachel had built was about to implode, with or without my intervention. The question was whether I wanted to be the one holding the match. The next morning, I drove to Richard Stevens' law office. Mom's attorney was expecting me. She'd apparently left detailed instructions about what to do after she passed. Emma, he greeted me warmly, leading me into his office. I've been waiting for you to come. I assume you've watched the video. I nodded, taking a seat across from his desk. I need your advice, Richard. Not just as Mom's lawyer, but as someone who's known our family for years. He leaned back in his chair, studying me carefully. You're wondering whether to expose everything? Yes, I admitted. Part of me wants to call a family meeting right now, show them the video, prove that Rachel's been lying. But your mother raised you better than that, he finished with a gentle smile. She knew you'd struggle with this decision. That's why she left you this. He handed me another envelope, this one in Mom's familiar handwriting. Inside was a letter, dated just days before she slipped into the coma. My dearest Emma, by now you know the truth about Rachel's actions. You're probably angry, hurt, and looking for justice. Those feelings are valid. You've been wronged in ways no sister should experience. But I want you to remember something about Rachel. When your father died, she was 12, old enough to understand what we'd lost but too young to process it healthily. While you found strength in independence, she developed a desperate need for control and security. I'm not excusing what she's done. The theft, the lies, the manipulation. These are serious wrongs that need to be addressed. But perhaps there's a way to do that without destroying her completely. You're an investigative journalist, Emmy. You know that sometimes the most powerful stories aren't about exposing wrongdoing, but about understanding why people do wrong and helping them find a better path. Whatever you decide, know that I trust your judgment and I'm proud of the woman you've become. All my love, Mom. I folded the letter carefully, feeling tears well up again. Even at the end, Mom had been thinking about both her daughters, trying to help us find our way back to each other. There's something else you should know, Richard said, pulling out another file. Your mother made some arrangements before she died. She knew about Rachel's financial troubles, so she set up a trust fund for her grandchildren's education. Rachel can't touch the money, it goes directly to the schools. She was protecting the kids, I realized. Yes, Richard nodded. And she left the family home to you, Emma, not to punish Rachel, but because she knew you'd do the right thing with it. I thought about our childhood home, filled with memories of happier times. Rachel's kids had practically grown up there too, spending afternoons with Mom while Rachel and Tom worked. Suddenly, I knew what I had to do. An hour later, I texted Rachel, "We need to talk. Come to Mom's house at 2. Come alone." Her response was quick and angry. "I have nothing to say to you." Then just listen. Unless you want the family to see Mom's video. At exactly 2 p.m., Rachel's car pulled into the driveway. She looked terrible, eyes red from crying, hair uncombed, nothing like her usually perfect appearance. "What video?" she demanded as soon as she walked in. "What are you trying to pull?" Wordlessly, I opened my laptop and played Mom's recording. Rachel sank onto the couch as she watched, her face draining of color as Mom detailed her theft and lies. When it ended, we sat in silence for a long moment. "Are you going to show this to everyone?" she finally asked, her voice small and broken. "That depends on you," I replied. "Mom left me the house, Rachel, and I know about the foreclosure notice on your place." She flinched. "How did you?" "I'm a journalist. Finding information is what I do." I took a deep breath. "Here's what's going to happen. You and the kids can move in here." "What?" "The house is paid for. The utilities are manageable. You can get back on your feet, work out your debt issues. But there are conditions." Rachel's eyes narrowed. "What conditions?" "First, you come clean to the family about the lies you told about me. All of them. Second, you get professional help, therapy to deal with your control issues and financial counseling to handle the debt. Third, you pay back every penny you stole from Mom's accounts. And if I refuse?" I opened another file on my laptop, the one with all the evidence of her theft. "Then I go to the police with proof of your financial fraud. Your choice." Rachel's facade finally crumbled completely. She buried her face in her hands and began to sob, deep, racking cries that seemed to come from somewhere ancient and wounded. "I didn't mean for it to go this far," she choked out. "The debt just kept growing, and I couldn't tell Tom, and then Mom got sick." "I know," I said quietly. "Mom knew too. That's why she left us a way to fix this." Over the next few hours, we talked, really talked, for the first time in years. Rachel confessed everything. The spiral of debt that had driven her to steal, the fear and jealousy that had fueled her lies about me, the overwhelming pressure of maintaining her perfect facade. 2 days later, we called a family meeting. Rachel stood up, shaking but determined, and told the truth. There were tears, recriminations, angry questions. But there was also finally honesty. 6 months later, Rachel and the kids are settled into Mom's house. She's in therapy, working through her grief and control issues. Tom filed for divorce when he learned about the hidden debt, but the kids are doing better with a more stable, honest mother. The family is healing slowly. Some relationships may never be the same, but new ones are forming based on truth rather than pretense. Yesterday, I found Rachel in Mom's study, looking at old family photos. "Do you think she'd be proud of us?" she asked softly. "Of how we handled everything." I thought about Mom's final message about her belief in redemption over revenge. "Yes," I said. "I think this is exactly what she hoped for." The USB drive sits in my desk drawer now, a reminder that sometimes the hardest truths can lead to the most meaningful healing. Mom knew that all along. She just needed us to figure it out for ourselves.